Are you looking for a more elegant way to protect your gardens from deer? You can do it yourself, but be aware of what the final project will look like before you start. So, posts sticking out of the ground without a finished bar across. One advantage is that the deer can't tell how tall the line is, so it's harder for them to decide whether to jump. But the other part is that they don't look like they're finished. Now, if you did have posts that had caps at the top, that looks a little bit more stylish. You can do it yourself if you have the equipment, and make sure that you know what your laws are and you've contacted Miss Dig beforehand. Make accommodations for entrances for large vehicles like a tractor or a plow, and for your doors for getting through with wheelbarrows and other equipment. I recommend having doors that swing both ways in case your hands are full, and latches that are easy for humans to open but not for children or raccoons. Understand that some fencing material is made to keep out deer, but not good at keeping out rabbits or other critters. Also, some materials that we put up for fencing may be very visible to the light in the light. For example, this is chicken wire and it shows up as white, whereas very high quality deer fencing does not show up like you see in this picture here. Instead, the wood makes it look like a framework for the scenery. Here are some more examples of fences that could be installed. I like this one in particular because it has that long beam across the top up high, which would deter deer from jumping because they may not be able to make it in safely or out safely. You could also hang things from the beams and install motion detectors if you like. Here are some examples of fenced gardens with tall things in the middle, so the deer are less likely to jump in because of the obstacles that they would face trying to get in and then get out of that area. And then here is a homemade fence with sharp points at the top of varying sizes, so even if the deer could see the tops of the fences, they would be less likely to jump in. But unless they have some kind of fencing on the inside of those posts, a fawn could easily get between the slats and into the garden. This style of garden is very popular as well, and the raised bed height is high enough that a rabbit can't get in either. This is a variation on those gardens, but with nicely kept posts and no headers. And although this is very clean, there are just too many posts to be visually appealing. It would also add to the cost of materials to include that many posts. Surrounding the area with stone features is a good idea to keep digging critters from getting in as well. And here is another elegant setup, but if you look at the very bottom, I don't see fencing that comes down to the ground, so small critters like rabbits could get in there. And here's a gallery that you can take a look at and see what you like. Some of them have very simple fencing on the outsides, and then they get fancy at the entrances. Some of them are built to withstand very severe weather as well. If privacy is something you treasure, then maybe this fencing would be for you. And some are built with roofs. This one has fencing on top of the roof, so it's permeable. And then this one looks like a pergola style, but could have coverings over the top in the early spring and fall for protection.